Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you, always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP, so I hope you're all having a wonderful day today. Wherever you are in this great world, we're going to talk about XRP, and I got to start with this. AI predicts Ripple's price. If XRP ETFs are approved by April to May 2025, short-term impact. Q1, the price may see a sharp rise as speculative buying occurs. This could potentially push XRP towards $2 to $3, depending on the broader crypto market sentiment. Midterm impact: if the ETFs perform well and attract sustained interest, XRP could establish new highs, potentially testing $5 or more, provided Ripple continues to make regulatory progress globally. I think those predictions are way too low, honestly. The wave of money that would pour into XRP, it's going to be astounding. And people are going to be taken off guard by it, because they're going to approve those ETFs like a sudden event, and I think institutions are just waiting on the sidelines to get into this space. Especially into XRP, I would think the ETFs could push us maybe between $8 and $12 after that. We see where go from there. But I think an all-time high is a good place to start. Don't get me wrong, but to say maybe $5, I think it's going to be more bullish than that. XRP whale moves. Even when the market turns red, most people are scared, outraged, beaten down, and frustrated. But the whales keep buying. They don't care how much the price drops. They simply keep buying. $143 million represents a rally to $260, which is inevitable. As people are selling it, and we're going to continue to see that happen even if the price starts to break out for XRP as well. People think only buy the dips, but when there's a sudden price surge on XRP, and people are selling because it hit a new all-time high or hit $5 plus, the whales will still buy at those price points. That's why we will eventually see scarcity. And this shows you how these partnerships that Ripple makes, in the past, play a factor today. CEO of Standard Chartered Bank Kenya. Back in 2018, we invested in Ripple to leverage blockchain for supply chain finance and trade finance. We want to be ahead of the curve in terms of those strategic inflection points. Now Ripple and partners pilot blockchain aid system for Kenya farmers. So you see how these partnerships are still alive today. And like I said, when it comes to trade, the whole world is shifting there as well. Everybody thinks that it's just a reset of the current financial system. It's going to be a reset of everything. Everything is now going digital. This, an industrial revolution. Everything is going to change going forward. And as that change happens, these cryptocurrencies are going to start to reflect the price of that happening. That's why I told you this is a once-in-a-lifetime event. You either invest now or you regret it later. As you can see, 70% of Binance traders are placing long-term bets on XRP's price, which means that they would open XRP futures positions. 33% XRP was never a short-term hold for me. When I first purchased it, I always said, I'm going to hold this until everything I think is going to happen does. Everything we see now happening is that vision that we're seeing today. You know, a new financial system is rising. It's happening little by little, but on a daily basis. Even all of this going on with the tariffs shows you a major shift in everything. We have a very pro-crypto administration. The reset always included. Is it possible that XRP will end up in the hands of the government through Ripple giving it as a gift? Remember how I showed you the other day when they were discussing how the government could accept gifts from companies? It could be anything from code to crypto, anything, as long as it's a gift. There's no paperwork to go through, and there's no way to put it through channels. Crypto ISO is going live this year. You think that's just a coincidence, but it's actually because the new financial system is already in the process of rising, and the Phoenix will rise with it. I'm more thinking on the lines of Ripple's stable coin RLUSD. I think that's going to become the US digital dollar, and maybe they do give the gift of XRP to move that digital dollar. We got to wait and see where this goes from here. But I see people saying once Ripple gifts that XRP to the government, that's it. It's going to $10,000 overnight. I don't know how people come to those conclusions, but the government could then start utilizing XRP to move money around the world. How much money would they move in a short period of time? How much traction? Would XRP get off of that? Early on, we just don't know. Everybody is speculating. Still, ETH has recorded the biggest drop in top 10. It is just not looking good for ETH. I mean, when the market plummeted, ETH took the biggest hit. And that's why I said, think there's a good chance of XRP permanently flipping Ethereum and staying as the number 2 cryptocurrency. I just would like to see ETH get some momentum going because that would definitely lead us into alt season, but again, there's speculation that now XRP will lead us into this alt season. If that happens, that's going to be an absolute game changer, that's going to be a cycle changer. But you know what else is going to change these cycles? Utility, and utility is definitely coming. According to Arthur Hayes, the days of U.S. stocks and treasuries serving as global reserve assets are over, and gold and Bitcoin will take over. However, it won't be Bitcoin that takes over. Rather, it will be utility-driven cryptocurrencies that dominate this market. Many people are still preoccupied with Bitcoin because they think that all of the stories they see in the mainstream media and on X every day are false. And no matter how many times people try to sell that notion and narrative, it will never happen. Bitcoin is unable to provide on-demand liquidity and cannot shift value in the same manner as XRP. XRP offers liquidity on demand. Since scarcity is not a use case and the belief system is still in place, Bitcoin is essentially data technology, which is why it is still trading at current prices. Conor McGregor claims, "I changed the fight game. I changed the whiskey game. I changed the stout game. Now it's time to change the crypto game. This is just the beginning. This is real. Get token." Suggesting that he is now developing his own coin because of the poor rug pull incoming. Although he claims that there won't be a rug pull, we've seen what transpired last year, so I genuinely believe that this will be one. People still want to launch their own coin, but I was unable to do so because 94% of meme coins failed in 2024. Utility will always be king. Wise money will always find true worth. And these scams that occurred last year one after another with no repercussions. Personally, I was unable to start my own coin since, in my opinion, if even one person lost money, I could not support myself. These individuals are merely profiting, but utility is where the true value lies. Stability and long-term investments are driven by utility. XRP is not a cryptocurrency for quick wealth accumulation. You'll experience sideways movement and dips, but you must persevere because XRP also has incredible runs. For example, from 2017 to 2018, in 2021, we hit $1.92 while the SEC case was just getting started, and XRP was off all major exchanges except Uphold, but we managed to reach $1.92s. What do you think will happen in this run if it ever begins? This run is the most peculiar cycle I have ever witnessed in cryptocurrency for Bitcoin bulls who self-custody cryptocurrency. The fires in California are the topic of discussion here because of the increasing global risks. People started posting on social media about Bitcoin losses, with some users displaying metal plates meant to protect seed phases that were burned up and in an unusable state. Oh my God, are describing the complexity of recovering crypto keys stored in a safety deposit box. Bank impacted by fires. Wow, so what they're saying is this. They're saying that a lot of the seed phrases ended up disappearing and they lost their Bitcoin, and I agree with that. You got to store your wallet somewhere, safe, because if you were to have a house fire, don't want to lose the seed phrase. You also want to make sure that everything is safe and it's in the rubble from fire. But it could be a flood. Multiple things that can happen. But this is like the strangest way that people lost their crypto because some of them had it at the local bank in a safety deposit box, and they still ended up losing their Bitcoin. So think about that whenever you're holding your Descent wallet or your Ledger wallet. Make sure you're keeping it somewhere very safe. And when it comes to exchanges, that's now a problem as well. And we see that right here. Nearly 400,000 FTX users risk losing 2.5 billion in repayments because they never went through the KYC verification, know your customer, and now they risk losing all of that money. This is also why you don't use an exchange that doesn't do KYC or AML. I keep seeing people saying, I don't do KYC or AML. However, if that exchange goes under regulation, your cryptocurrency is gone and your money goes with it. For this reason, it's crucial to always buy cryptocurrency at a regulated exchange, even if MEXI isn't available in the US. I had to get a VPN and a Palau ID, but at least I went through the KYC process, and they're also doing anti-money laundering. However, if you're buying and storing your cryptocurrency at an exchange that doesn't do this, your cryptocurrency may disappear in the future. I emphasize this because whenever something goes wrong, people immediately point the finger at someone else saying, "Oh, you should have told me this was going to happen." Yesterday, someone on X claimed that I had stolen their cryptocurrency,